thank you for that, because no gamer is a god. And I'm going to stand on I've got 3 questions, because I sit way back there, and the stairs is way too long and fast.
Okay.
First of all, have you ever used any of your D&D characters for jobs?
Yes. Grimthorn in particular, actually, is he booked me an RPG about 2 years ago as an angry Scott character. And one NPC called Native Curios, who is we're going back to the 2nd edition now. This old high school character who was an elven thief mage. There's this very kind of charismatic, sly kind of, oh, don't you worry yourself about that. I'll take care of it. Everything will be all right. We're friends, right? Slimy, but silver tongue, and that's put me a few gigs actually. So yeah, my D&D role-playing experiences have been very helpful.
You said you wanted to do Nightcrawler, but is there any villains that you wanted everyone to voice?
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of them. I love villains so much. Unfortunately, my vocal range for the most part, I generally get cast more for like young heroic types. That's just kind of the natural sound that I go for. But I love villains. I love that whole there is no escape for you, my boy. So like that. The one character I always wanted to voice until they actually voiced him was Sephiroth from Final Fantasy VII. I always wanted to do that since I was a kid, I'm old, okay? I just love him as a character, but the guy who does it's pretty good, so I was like, alright, that's fair.
What do you think about the whole 4th edition Druids game with the animal companion? This is a geeky conversation.
Ooh!
Well,
yeah. Druid animal companions. You've got to have animal companions, it's good. You've got to go out and find it.
My poor Druid has lost her wolf. She's sad.
No,
well, actually,
no,
here's the thing. Actually, if you look currently, they've introduced an element to 4th edition character creation called themes. And the themes have they're basically just little additional things you can add to the character. One of the themes is animal handler, and it comes with a companion, and it has rules for using an animal both it can move simultaneously with you during your movement phase, and it gives you like an additional 1 or 2 encounter powers that give you other benefits, so it's pretty cool. And like any class can do that, but it's specifically for a druid, it's a really awesome flavor. Because in our campaign we're running, we have a rogue who has a dog with her at all times. We've kind of just had the house rule, the use of the dog on the board. It's mainly just there for flavor, flavor text during her combat moves, not actual effectiveness. But now that the themes have been involved, she can use it as part of the combat. So I recommend that at least.
You did a Korean game where I went from 2.5 Korean to long time gap through a misled portal to 4th edition Koreans. And all of a sudden my druid has no portal and no wolf, and she's like, okay.
I hope he's being fed. I can find him. And actually, on that note too, it's funny you mentioned changing editions. I ran a 2-year-long Ravenloft game for a group. I love Ravenloft. There's something so cool about doing dark gothic horror D&D. Because usually D&D is more like about adventure and magic. This is the first game I ever run around. The whole point was to creep out my players and freak them out. I do things where I'd spend the night, I'd be up till 4 a.m. the night before a session writing up nightmares for each character individually, like page-long nightmares, fold them up. And then whenever the players would finally get to a point to do a full night's rest, I'd turn the lights down, light a candle in front of each one, and hand them their nightmares. They had to read them silently. When they finished their nightmare, they'd close it and blow out the candle. And they could choose whether or not they wanted to share the information with the party or not. And a lot of the nightmares dealt with other party members. And I was basically sowing the seeds of distrust in the party. It was so cool.
Hi. Are there any webcomics or web original videos that you follow, not counting There Will Be Brawl?
I don't follow that thing. That's weird. No, I keep up with Penny Arcade pretty consistently. Let's see what else. I used to keep up a lot with the Perry Bible Fellowship, but there hasn't been updated in a long time. But I love Perry Bible Fellowship. It's just that it's that weird, awesome, twisted, fuck up sense of humor that I have. It appeals to that very, very well. So, as far as like what videos go, anything Lonely Island comes out with, I've been following them since 2003. Back when they were doing Channel 101 stuff on the web, and for those of you who even know what I'm talking about, like Kablamo and their early videos, stuff. It's hilarious stuff. So I'll follow them, even if it doesn't always hit. Cat videos. Cats. I can watch that all day. I've lost many an afternoon to like, I'll just watch a couple cat videos, cut to, you know, sun coming up. Oh shit. I should sleep after this cat video.
Oh, hi, Matt.
Oh, hi, Superboy.
Thank you. You can't believe the amount of times I've been called Superman today.
Oh gosh, no, really?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, that is appalling.
I know.
Find them, bring them to me, and I will destroy them.
I've got two questions.
Yes.
One, is there any characters that aren't in the Avengers film that you would have liked to have seen there?
I would. Ooh, that's an interesting point. I would like to have seen how they could pull off Scarlet Witch, but that's a character with just like a convoluted enough backstory.
So long as she stays away from her brother.
Hey!
It's your sister.
No! I'm going to bend the probability.
You can't justify it. It's not working.
As long as it doesn't divulge into like a House of M trilogy film series, I'll be okay. But yeah, probably Scarlet Witch. That's obviously an interesting character, or Vision. Vision would be kind of interesting. And then you have the both of them, and you have their awkward kind of Data-esque romance, and you're like, you turn invisible and phase. I guess that's kind of kinky. But I mean, really, honestly, the one character of the Avengers that I was curious as to how it would ever function would be Thor, and they did a pretty good job with the film. Because they went more Ultimate Thor, which made me happy. Because those of you who've read the Ultimate Universe, you know, some of it's okay, some of it's actually really good. Like the first two Ultimates books were fucking brilliant, and they actually made me like Thor, who normally I wasn't a huge fan of. So I'm really excited to see how they do his dynamic with the rest of the group in the Avengers film.
You just ruined my second question, which was what do you think of the Ultimate Universe?
Oh, there you go. See it right there. I actually like a lot of the Ultimate Universe. Ultimate Spider-Man he goes from to really, really good. Ultimate X-Men was okay. I felt it had some really good arcs in it, but it floundered at some points too. They killed off some characters pretty quickly. I was like, that's bold, but annoying. And then they bring him back. Of course, it's Marvel.
Ultimates tend to stay dead.
Yeah. Well, didn't Beast come back?
Beast came back.
Yeah.
They've just killed Peter Parker, so...
I heard that, and that's interesting. That's really bold. I'm curious to see how that pans out. Once again, yes, I'm American, but it's not something I'm proud of sometimes. Yeah. Exactly. Well, no, there's a lot of ignorance in parts of my country, and it really drives me crazy that people, Fox News, you know, permeate this whole mindset. And the fact that they unveiled this whole thing, you know, Peter Parker is this, you know, this black kid, and all of a sudden like, oh, was it because Obamas are in office, and like, or because it's his story, and it's interesting.
And all the newspapers ruined how Spider-Man was going to die.
Of course, yeah, that was ridiculous. Like, good job, guys. Spoilers.
I think it was The Sun had like an entire side of a page that detailed the entire scene, like everything he did, his last words, what position he was in when he died. Everything was on that.
And then a hand sketch. that sounds like spite to me. That sounds like somebody in the newspaper was like, you know what, Marvel? There. But yeah.
Worse, they could have just mentioned one more day.
No one should ever mention one more day. Mary Jane. But yeah, ultimately it's pretty good.
Hello. Before my two main questions, you said you always wanted to voice Sephiroth.
Yes.
How would you voice Sephiroth?
It's on the spot. It's not too far from Alice, but you know, kind of low and like, hi, Cloud. Yeah, we're rattling. Mother, there you are. Yeah, just kind of low and soft and smooth, but intense when it needs to be. You know, a little.
You're nothing but a puppet.
You're nothing but a puppet. If I hadn't been drinking 3 days straight, I'd probably do more the register. But yeah, but
question is, what's the nerdiest, geekiest, downright thing most geeks here you've done and just walk away and like, ew, that's really nerdy. I'm not sure I want to know you. Ever done?
I played Riffs once. Once.
Did you have fun?
No, it's Riffs.
You're not playing with the right people.
You're not playing with the right game. Riffs to me is what happens when you're 12 and your friends had way too much Kool-Aid and you're up at like 4 in the morning on a Saturday. And you're just like, and then he was a psychic dolphin. Yeah, he's like a dolphin, and like you go and you fight like a tentacled dragon thing from Atlantis, and then like a portal open, and a bunch of bugs will come out, and then a guy has all this like armor on and shoots lasers, but then like it opens another portal to a world that's like an entire living planet made of worms, and then the planet can't come through because you summoned up a demon from this ancient world of magic that has a hang glider that shoots aerial rockets that transform into jetpacks. You know? I would totally play that game. But the problem is, then he goes like, okay, fine, let's go into combat. 4 hours later. Alright, how much mega damage did I deal? Is it dead? No. Okay. I don't know, it was an uneven game, and it had way too many peripheral books, and most of them were just generally kind of offensive. Riffs Japan. I'm sure the people in Japan love how they took on their society there. But yeah, Riffs pretty nerdy. I've created, when I was younger, I actually wrote with my cousin our own tabletop game that took place in the underworld. In creating and game testing your own RPG is pretty nerdy. I don't think what else would be like shunnable. Not here at least. You guys all seem pretty cool. So we're all probably kind of in the same boat. So that's the worst I can do. If anything comes up, I'll let you know. But like, that's it.
And I'd just like to finish by asking that we're obviously in Britain, and a lot of great science fiction, fantasy, and other works have come out of Britain. So I come from a family of Blake 7 fans. So what sort of British science fiction, fantasy, and nerdy, geeky things do you like?
Well, Neil Gaiman's books definitely. American Gods, Neverwhere. Which, by the way, Neverwhere was a lot more impactful after actually I visited London. And when I first read it, I was like, this is cool. And then you actually see the city, you're like, oh, I get it. Actually, Terry Pratchett. Big fan of all of these squirrel books. I heard that. I heard something like that, which would be interesting. That's also very DM specific. Like, how can you make a game based on a world like that funny if the person who's running it isn't funny? So you have to be very careful.
I have to have it.
I respect that. Yeah, no, Terry Pratchett's great. Let me see what else. Well, the whole Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy series, definitely. I have my towel packed somewhere in my luggage, just in case. But yeah, so those are the big ones I can think of off the top of my head. Really, so.
Is there any nerdy card games you play?
I did play Magic the Gathering for like 3 years back when I was I began right around Fallen Empires, and then ended at Homelands. But there were some good series in there, like Ice Age was pretty good, and of course all the old suits. I remember I was one of those kids that I played a tri-color deck, red, black, and blue. Blues for counters, blacks for creatures, and red for direct damage. It was a fuck you deck. It was fun. Like I had a whole set. It was great. And it was like me and a bunch of kids and like that one guy who made way too much money with the gray beard would walk in with like Forges engines and every mox, and you're like, really, man, really? Just, your life is reduced to having to come in and beat kids at card games to feel good about yourself because you have money. And then we still beat them, so But yeah, I stopped playing around Homelands because it was just a terrible set. I was like, why am I spending money on terrible cards? And then I lent them to my cousin who lived in Alabama at the time because he had just gotten out of prison. But there's something else to do in Alabama but go to prison apparently. And then his girlfriend's mom found the cards, thought they were demonic, and burned them. Because that's what you do in the South to get the devil out. You burn it. I did get briefly into the World of Warcraft card game, but after I built all these decks and bought like 3 boxes, and like I just didn't have anyone to play with, so they kind of gathered dust. Well, thank you. I'll bring them next time if I do that again. And actually, right now I just bought the. It's not really a collectible card game, but I bought the Resident Evil card game. It's like 2 to 4 players. Like it's a deck building versus game. Really, really, really cool. Really like fun design. So check it out if you get a chance. But that's the main ones I can think of off the top of my head.
Right, second question, Dan. Have you ever tried Munchkin?
Oh yeah. Maybe. Munchkin's a game that ends friendships. I've seen tables of friends get together and be like, this will be fun, and by the end of the day, they're just not looking at each other. Like, hey Dave, I'm sorry for that. Don't you talk to me. All right, you didn't have to double monster me on that move. All right, I was this close to 10 experience points and winning. Okay, he's like, that's why I had to do it. I don't care. No honor, you know. Like it's just, yeah. But no, Munchkin's actually a lot of fun. Mainly, I fell in love when there was, you know, no one can help you fight the gazebo. You must fight the gazebo. Okay, that's kind of rad. And then it was my fate was sealed when I equipped the knee pads of Allure. I was like, oh, it's a BJ joke. So yeah, no, I'm a big fan of Munchkin. And yeah, I'll survive time. Let's throw a game together.
This is like a GMing question.
Okay.
You strike me as the sort of person to be quite an evil GM, you like to screw with your players. Your nightmare story kind of covered that a bit. Have you ever had really non-cooperative players that you've just had to punish?
Back when I first started playing, yes. I'm very, very picky with the players I choose. Like, it's almost like a screening process. Like, I have to interview people before I invite them to a game because I only want to play with cooperative people. And generally people that have a little bit of performing flair. I like people that are thespians, people that have some acting experience and are willing to go into character, because I'm not really about the numbers game. Combat's fun and all, but for me, the real meat of the game comes in the role playing, comes in the storyline, and kind of building that personality and the world that your character lives in. So if the problem players I had early on, my way of punishing them was not running the game anymore. But I think it's pretty much the ultimate way a DM can fuck over a player in a game. It's like, yeah, you can kill the character all day long, but when you just decide, I'm done, and walk away, punished. But yeah, I'm not that mean. I'm not trying to constantly kill the players. There's a threat of danger, and if they play stupidly, yes, they will get killed. But at the same time, I want to make sure everyone's having fun. And it's not fun to feel like you're being antagonized, or you're fighting against an unstoppable foe, and the DM's against you. You know, I feel like I'm more a cooperative DM. But also, you know, it's their world. They do what they want, and based on their decisions, they could get in some serious shit, and there are consequences to face. So it depends. Although the Ravenloft game, I was kind of a dick.
Is there a story to that? Want to share that?
Certainly. I unfortunately have a few more minutes to panel, but I have another 2-hour panel too that I will be probably just this, so feel free to come back to that, please. And I think after this I might have a signing out there as well, so I didn't get to finish that, so if you guys want to go after that, we can do that. But Ravenloft, it was fun to mess with the players and just be addicted to them. That's part of the idea. If you're going to play a Ravenloft game, you're going to get fucked with. That's what happens. That's the whole point. Barovia destroys you, mentally, physically, the whole thing. And so as the game progressed, all these really nice characters that enter Barovia just became more and more corrupted. One of the characters, they're like small, kind of tomb rot scar from years ago, began to spread. One of our mages, our mage died and was resurrected, make the resurrection successful, and she didn't come back right. So she was like kind of more feral and bestial, and that also was her inclination to her Paragon path of Blood Mage. So I was a dick. I killed off a couple players because of situations that they just didn't think their way out of. And then for the final battle with Strahd was epic because our cleric, Nora, they were fighting in the tomb of Strahd's parents, which is this giant stained glass window, and then it's on a cliff. Like this, it's built in the side of a cliff. And so Strahd throws one of the party members into the window, it shatters, but they manage to catch the edge, the saving throw, and pull himself up. So now there's this giant hole in the stained glass, and like a 400-foot drop in just darkness, because it's like 2 in the morning, this battle's taking place. And so at one point, someone's battling, Strahd takes the cleric and he throws her towards the hole. She manages to catch herself on the edge, but then with his minor action, he dominates our paladin, who's like this very righteous but very intense anti-undead paladin. Dominates him, and the next turn was the paladin's. forces the paladin to bull rush her. And it was successful. And so our paladin killed our cleric in the final battle. And the way I described it was like, you know, you feel this horrible cold sensation crawl over your brain, and your vision comes to this like low, dull tunnel. The colors fade, and you're seeing everything in black and white. You feel your heavy feet grow heavier, but still moving on their own. You're unable to control yourself, and your speed's ramping faster and faster towards this darkened end of this hallway. There's stained glass shards. You look down, and all you see is Nora's face. She looks up at you, apologetic, reaching out, looking for aid. And all you can do is look down as your foot stomps down and crushes her fingers below your boot and kicks her into the oblivion. You hear her cry out, and all you can do is mouth the words, "I'm sorry," as she plummets into the abyss and is never seen again. At which point I turn towards the player who is Nora, and she's like crying. I'm like, "I'm sorry," but inside I'm like, "Yes." One more quick question, and unfortunately we have to continue this at 2 o'clock. So if you have really awesome questions, bring them back then.
I'm sorry, incredibly quick. Wouldn't you like I'm a Marvel, I'm a DC by It's Some Random Guy on YouTube?
What's up, sorry?
I'm a Marvel, I'm a DC on It's Some by It's Some Random Guy on YouTube.
I haven't seen that.
It's brilliant. Watch it.
Okay. Okay, I'll look it up.
She's my friend.
I'm a pony! Awesome. Thank you so much. This goes on my fridge. All right, guys, thank you all very much. On the panel at 2 o'clock, I'm doing something outside.